we found these arcs in everything she did. So musically, artistically, personally, I think she goes through there's journeys in each strand
Mm.
of the film as we found it, even in her final tour, I think, even though that was just a year, I guess. Um, and I think she's become more settled in who she is. That was something that I saw from the outside, more confident, more sure of herself, although she had a confidence as a 17-year-old as well. So um, is that what you mean?
Yeah. She was incredibly open with you guys. She was very giving, very generous. That is not so usual, is it?
It is not. I have known Joan for 30 years. So there was a history that enabled a certain kind of trust, I think, that you feel in the film. When you ask what we imagine the film to be, we had the anchor for us was this visual memoir. Like what is her life then? And then is there a way to do a biopic that is not a conventional kind of narrative? And because of my history with Joan, it gave us an opening to potentially do something that was more intimate and immersive and less kind of curated and controlled often. And that Joan at this point in her life, Michael was ready, probably as never before, to really open up, to really be unguarded and vulnerable in a way. And so I think even in the course of the filming, maybe you feel that not only are we following the trajectory of her official life, you feel that personally, that you are really stepping inside her world, her both exterior and internal world, in a way that maybe is just unusual. Certainly Joan has a presented narrative, but the film, I think, kind of turns it on its head a little bit and lets you inside in a way that maybe is unusual.
I thought your visual strategy was quite wonderful. Can you talk about the animation? I mean, it's based on uh, her drawings, correct?
Yes, Miri and Maeve were ahead of me on seeing the potential of animation. I wasn't sure like how to do it. It can sometimes take you out of the film, and then through Maeve we found this amazing team in Dublin, Eat the Danger, and then Miri and Maeve really kind of saw it before. I ended up loving it. I think it enhances the film in an amazing way, but they can tell you a little bit more about that.
I mean, I think one thing that's interesting about the animation, I guess, is that none of us had worked on animation before. So it was new for us, and it was a little bit of a journey for us. We were with the animators, working with them every week for many, many months. And one of the things that we really wanted to hold strong to was that we wanted to keep the animation as close to Joan's authentic drawings as we could. And the guys really did that, and you can imagine animators might go off on a tangent and do their own thing and bring all. They didn't do that. They really, really held strong on that, held firm on that. And maybe, Mary, if you want to expand on the other layers that you were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we did. It was very exciting because it was new to all of us. So we looked at all different kinds of animation before we started. We wanted her art when we walked into her storage unit. Her artwork had existed from the time she was 5 until now. She is an amazing artist. She's done, recently has gotten more and more into painting, but you can see an entire arc of her life through her artwork. And we wanted the same journey and the same depth to be able to dive into her creative inner world, which I think is quite vibrant, and use the artwork in the same way that we kind of delve deeper and deeper into her letters as you go on, and her mind in some ways. And so they did that beautifully. One of the things that I think we weren't sure we were going to be able to do was to get her both her serious depth that the artwork was taking on, I think, psychologically and otherwise, and her humor and her wit, which it also, they seem to manage both things in the art. She's playful, she's, at the same time that she's unearthing kind of deep pieces of herself. And I think that was important for us to get to through our work, which I think we managed in the end, which was an amazing thing, I think.
Yeah, these animators had a dark sense of humor as well, generally speaking, didn't they? They had a funny kind of interesting layering going on, a little bit of a dark edge, but humorous too, huh?
Similar to her.
That's what I was going to say. There was a similar sensibility, I thought. It reminded me a little bit of her too. So,
and that light and dark, Michael Way, was a thread all the way through the film. It's obviously a duality in Joan. When you talk about the kind of personal trajectory, you see this 17-year-old, 18-year-old kind of suddenly kind of searching for herself in some way, thinking of herself as this dumb Mexican, and then being labeled the Queen of Folk and the Madonna. And then over the course of the film, you see this woman who's really, you know, through time come to a much greater understanding of who she is and what she is about, and then coming, as she describes it, almost through this dark tunnel to this light now, and being very confident and at peace with herself, having kind of laid low what she calls the inner demons. And so that light and dark, that kind of duality, always, the animators too really captured it. So in every way we could, we were trying to kind of keep these threads, these thematic threads, in a light-handed way as possible, but that everything is kind of building towards that.
We had long discussions about identity. Now that you say that, Karen, it's just triggered a lot of memories in the edit about, you know, trying out different kinds of things. She was on this journey all the time of trying different kinds of things, the Virgin Mary, as you say, that, you know, the Madonna, all this kind of stuff. And it kind of culminates and shifts and changes as the film goes on. It's quite an interesting exploration for sure.
Yeah, this constant quest of who am I? Who am
Yeah.
I want to be? And I think that kind of continues with her in some way. She was in search of herself always.
Yes.
Thank you so much.